You know, one of the most profound quotes that we wrote in the book is this, and I feel like it just resonates so deep, that every breach is preceded by a knock of truth that was not invited in. That's powerful.
That is wrong.
It is powerful because we don't think about that. So people think that the breach is something that just instantaneously happened. But there was a breach that was happening, and truth was knocking. And it was knocking and knocking and trying to say something, show us something. But we didn't invite the truth in.
That's so powerful because truth is ever present.
Yeah.
But truth will diminish and move away if we don't invite it in.
Yes.
If we refuse it, if we deny it, if we just act like it doesn't exist, truth eventually will just start diminishing and move away from us, which will open up space
Yeah.
for falsehood and lies
Yeah.
and everything that is not the truth.
Yeah. That, and this is when we call the drift, the spiritual drift. So it has nothing to do about religion. It's nothing to do about religion. So people don't have to freeze up because this book is not written about religion. But there's so many drop the mic moments. And what we really have to understand is that every one of us, inside of every one of us, is built of what we call, I've been calling this for years, a Noah. I know that I know that I know that I know. That's every one of us. It's like you know something. Even before you can prove it, you know it. So where did that come from? That came from that Noah, that inner place inside of us, right? It's inside of us. So the drift comes when the Noah starts trying to reveal something, and then we ignore it.
That's right. It's trying to give us information that we just kind of just pull away because we don't want to receive it. From something inside of us is saying, you should recognize this. I think of how many times you've had a feeling, you've had a hunch,
yes,
you've had a, you felt like this isn't right. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That was that Noah that you're
that
talking
Noah.
about. And eventually, when that Noah gets, ignored enough, it's almost like when a blister forms and creates a callus. Eventually, that callus becomes hard.
Yeah.
And you don't have the sensitivity towards that thing anymore. And that's the way that spiritual drift and that Noah inside of us,
right,
eventually it gets calloused over.
It gets calloused.
And we don't feel that sensitivity towards that Noah.
And you're right. And so the more we ignore it, the further the voice becomes in our life. And a lot of times people are looking at like the bigger explosion, but we go to little moments before. Because before any breach, then there were moments of little Noahs, moments of truth trying to reveal itself. That other voice that kept trying to say, hey, pay attention, pay attention. So this goes beyond infidelity, because the question would be, how many times have we ignored the voice of reason, the voice of truth that has been residing inside of us? How many times? We don't look at that. We don't look at that as a breach, but that's a breach of your consciousness. That's a breach of your own truth. If this has been my truth, and I've been living in this truth, whatever that truth is, and then something distracts me and I start veering off to the left, or something distracts me and I'm veering off to the right. But then the inner Noah is saying, hey, you kind of veered off, you're getting off track, something not right. But we ignore it. It happens all the time. We ignore it. Because why? We're trying to justify our actions.
If we go back in life, a lot of times we have convictions. We have morals. We have standards. We have those things that we've set in front of us to keep us aligned.
Yeah.
That's the word I hear, coming out of alignment with what spiritually we feel. inside, which is contrary to, you know, living a life in alignment. Because when that double standard comes in, it allows us to take the voice of that Noah and minimize it, and say, I hear you, but I don't want to lean into doing what you tell me.
I'm going to ignore it.
I'm going to ignore you. I'm not going to do what you tell me. Oh, it's not that important right now. Nobody's going to see me. You know, that's going against that spiritual conviction.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad you said it's not about religion.
It's not about religion.
That spiritual conviction, you know, that makes us start to drift.
That personal conviction inside of yourself. Like, you know that this is against your morals. You know this is against your values. You know this is not what you really believe. You're internal. But then, at the same time, you keep on doing it. That's the drift.
But let me say something too, because I believe that, you know, a lot of people are going to get this. That is the drift, like you just said.
That's the drift.
That is the drift. And when I thought about the drift, just recently, we took a trip, you know, from, say, like Orlando, Florida, coming 2 hours south.
Right.
And I set up the location that we wanted to go for our destination in the GPS. And when I set that up, leaving that location in Orlando, I could see the distance behind me increasing as I got closer to my destination.
Right.
In the rearview mirror, I could see that was not a drift. Now, if I had fallen asleep on a boat, and a boat was in the middle of the water, and the tide that allowed me to drift from Orlando 2 hours south, I would never even feel that distance had been put in between me. That's the way it is when we begin to drift.
Yeah.
You don't feel it coming.
It's
it just
not like
subtly.
Right. That's the scary part.
Scary part, because you can't say, I'm looking in the rearview mirror and I know I'm putting distance between me.
Right.
The drift subtly takes over. The drift subtly, you know, comes upon you, because it's a drifting. It's not it's not a fast pace. I'm leaving one place where I can say, oh, I left that place. No, it's a slow drift. So it's almost like a slow seduction. Almost like it slowly comes upon you. And when you wake up, you realize I've drifted.
You're too far from the shore now.
Too far.
Now you're so far from the shore, but the little hints that you're Noah, that's that inner Noah. I know that I know.
To wake you up and say you drifted.
Yes, and so we miss the subtle breadcrumbs. That little Noah was saying, wait a minute, pay attention. So we ignore, slow down, and we keep moving. That part, that's the part that we have to retrain ourselves so that we don't miss our alignment. Because this is how we become unaligned with our own values, our own morals, our own belief systems, our own integrity, is when we start ignoring the little signs, the little breadcrumbs, the little Noah, like, pay attention, something's a little off, and we ignore it. Pay attention, something is showing up differently, and we ignore it. We ignore these things, and we don't really want to, like, you know, to hone in on it, because we really don't want to see it. But the Noah is there to protect us. And you know, another part is, a lot of times people don't want to sit with themselves, because the Noah is trying to reveal something to you. And if you have to sit with yourself, then that means that you have to listen. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people, just sitting and listening. Listening to what your Noah is saying, because your Noah is trying to deliver a message to you.
That's so powerful. And you know, I think the battle comes in because people want gratification in their flesh.
Yes.
And they're willing to sacrifice that quick moment of self-gratification. And that's why they begin to override what the Noah is actually telling them.
Yes.
Noah is locked into a place where it's going to keep us aligned.
It's going to keep us aligned.
But the flesh is in a place where it's going to get us in trouble.
Yes.
It's going to cause us to want to be gratified and be satisfied. It wants to fulfill everything that feels good, that looks good.
Yeah.
That's where we get tripped up. We move away from what the Noah is actually telling us to keep us in alignment, and the flesh is pulling us further away from alignment, and we lean to the flesh because it feels good. We are in a society that we're in a microwave society. We want it quick, fast, and in a hurry. And that will get us in trouble because then we override all of the systems that should be in place from our Noah to keep us in alignment.
And keep us in alignment. Man, that's good. That's chapter 4. Chapter 4 in our book right here. You want to read it. It has nothing to do with religion. Nothing. But you talking about breakthrough for yourself. And that's chapter 4, talking about the spiritual drift. And these are the things that get us in trouble and how we have to look at things differently. That's why infidelity, the internal breach, how we breach our own morals, how we breach our own integrity, and we breach our own laws, our own belief systems, and that's where the fractures begin. Stay tuned.